Coming up this week on All Things Travel and Lifestyle. We hang out with illustrator and visual artist Masonwabo Ntloko. We cruise down Buteti River in Botswana. And we check out Frank Salmon's latest documentary.
South Africa observes Human Rights Day on March 21st in remembrance of the historical events of the 1960 Sharpeville massacre. The human rights movement have been led by various activists over the years. One young woman rose to fame when she and her peers stood up against racism at their school. We catch up with Zuleika Patel at Instanation, and she shares her views on identity and self-love.
For me, it's when you live without conforming to anyone or conforming to anyone's standard or any of the boxes that people create. It's you living on your own terms for yourself. Basically, Zuleika, outside of activism, outside of social justice, I am surprisingly actually someone that's not even an extrovert. I'm a bit shy, but I can be an extrovert when I'm comfortable in a certain space, and I'm very fun and outgoing person, and basically I'm very adventurous, like live on the edge, like I just like adventure. Anything that is filled with adventure, I'm there. So I'm studying an LLB law degree, and law has always been one of my passions for the longest time ever. I remember even when I was in primary school and we had dress-up days, I used to go find a black robe and come dressed as a lawyer. And I think the reason why I chose this specific degree is because I had goals with my activism, goals around social justice, the deliverance of justice, and law complemented that very well, and justice has always been at the core of my passions. So how I've always envisioned myself is becoming an international human rights lawyer and an admitted advocate Zuleika Patel. So I've written and successfully launched my debut book, My Coily Crowdy Hair, which has been a bestseller, a local bestseller in a number of stores, and it's available in every single book retailer in the country. And the thinking behind the book was I wanted to bring about a book filled with positive representation for a girl that looks like me or a girl that has hair like me, for a young black girl to see herself in the most positive light and an empowering light. And I wanted to bring forth something that would be a permanent documentation of reference to empower an African child's existence. In addition to everything that I've been busy with lately, I've partnered up with Telkom and Varsity Vibe as a Monate Maverick, which is an app that's available across all app stores to download. And what this is all about is about giving back to the youth, whereby they have access to the best discounts in tech, fashion, food.
Now there's a new generation of leaders, bold and fierce, and they are not afraid to speak up against injustice. Many like Zuleika and her peers.
Firstly, I think the day should be called for what it's remembered for. I think that we shouldn't have a day called Human Rights Day, but we should have a day called Sharpeville Day because of what happened on that day. And I think that it is necessary for us to have a day like that because it's a constant reminder on how far we still have to go in terms of anti-racism and creating an anti-racist world. Because I think that the atrocities that happened at the Sharpeville massacre, there hasn't been much reparations as well. And I think that in terms of building an anti-racist world, we're still very far from reaching that even as a country. So it's very necessary for us to have a day not necessarily called Human Rights Day, but Sharpeville Day, for it to be a constant reminder that we're mainly focusing on anti-racism and building an anti-racist country.
We wrap up our stay in Maun, Botswana, with a boat cruise on Bodeti River, a magnet for thirsty wildlife. A little adventure on a speedboat taking us to the other side before boarding the Tlo cruise. The Bodeti forms the western boundary of the Makgadikgadi Pens National Park. A wildlife spectacle that guarantees total relaxation.
We are in Janoga. This is part of the Bodeti River. It's an inflow from the Okavango Delta, which passes through the Tamalakane River, and then Bodeti. And now we are in Bodeti.
The cruise is an encompassing experience that reminds you of what the region has to offer. All of this on water.
The idea was to not only give you places to stay, but also give you an experience, so you could know what it is to do something adrenaline-based, something a bit cultural, just so you could get a feel of what Botswana is as a country. So our first stop was the food culture. Spot, very nice, great food. Her story as well is very inspirational. She loves what she does. She's got a very good product. And then we had Tao Safari Lodge, Ratanang Space, great experience as well. Nicely situated along the river, something very different pace, very nice. And then back into Maun, Cresta is a phenomenal place. It's one of the best venues to give clients as they're coming in and out of this area. And it served as a great spot to have our guests actually go out for those experiences.
1 hour of leisure on still waters was exactly what was needed before heading back to the hustle and bustle of city life. In celebration of surfer and environmentalist Frank Solomon's debut film, Sentence City was transformed into a desert to mimic the experience that Frank had with the San people when he shot his film Between San and Insanity.
I need to escape, to get as far away from the city as I can, to find a better way of living.
Yeah,
that I wanted to go to Namibia and maybe go and surf. That transformed into going to, learn from the San people, and then maybe going back to the coast. So, it's a good 2-year process from coming up with the idea, working with the pit, with Arthur and the iForce team, putting the pitch together, and then King James helping us tweak it, and then, going to Corona and being like, this is what we want to do. And then to be at the premiere, seeing the film, it's like, I got like a little bit emotional. I was like, that whole creative process is now like done its loop, and now this is the fun part where you get to share it with people, share your story.
So we decided to drive into the country and take our time and leave a lot of the crew behind, and they would fly in for the middle section. But because we had time, because we had beautiful sunrises, sunsets, you get to experience Namibia through the lens of what you want to experience. I think that was key for this film, to have time and experience it like any other traveler would experience.
Levels of content, for example, we've got We often think that our stories are mundane, and there is no such thing. And it is to honestly just to walk outside yourself and just witness the life that is. You know, Frank spoke about how he was battling with the insanity of lockdown, and there were these sand people. But in the midst of that is always a story. And so it's just incredible to just look inside ourselves and say, what am I suffering with? And how do I make that something? And how do I tell a story that might inspire someone else?
Creatives and film lovers exchanged ideas and cheered Frank on at his debut film.
Born in a small village in the Eastern Cape, Masonwabe Ntloko is an illustrator, designer, and visual artist. His love for art started at a very young age, when he used to draw sketches of his favorite cartoons and his family members. Passion and drive led to his mom allowing him to pursue a career in the creative space. Today, Ntloko is a textile design graduate and a founder of Create Studios.
It's gonna sound like a cliche story, but I think I've always known. Like, I think from a very young age, I remember because I started drawing like Dragon Ball Z, and you know, which is why I have the Dragon Ball Z tattoo. Like, that's really where it started, and I think from there I finally found something that I really loved and enjoyed, and I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Just under 25, Ntloko has collaborated with some of the biggest South African clothing brands. But it was the rug design collection that got people talking.
It's a very weird story, but like, all my stories are actually weird. So basically what happened was, one, had zero experience in making rugs, because I have a textile design background. So what happened was, just one day I just woke up and I'm like, you know what, I feel like making rugs. And I tweeted it. And a friend of mine replied, it's like, yo, I know people who can help you do it. So I got in touch with the people, which was the company that I collaborated with, Elum. This is a conversation that started December 2020 and continued till, I think, May 2021. So we were just having like a back and forth conversation because I was introducing a concept that was new, you know, in terms of how rugs look like, in terms of how rugs should, like, so it was a bit hard for, I wouldn't say hard for them to understand, but it was like, because it wasn't like the normal rug that, you know, it was a bit hard to even get the proper samples. It was hard to make sure that it looked the way that I wanted it to look. So we finally got to a point where we found common ground, and then we released it to the world.
Let's go to where the magic happens. So you can show me a thing or two.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
So tell me, what you're currently working on?
This is just like an artwork that I've been working on for a few days now. And to tell you the truth, I don't really have like a big plan for it. It's just like, even the whole painting thing, actually, it's just something that I think the inner child in me wanted to do now that I had a bit of time on my hands. I've always drawn by hand, for example, right? Then I think when I went to varsity, then that's when I started like creating using a computer. So a lot of the stuff that's on the clothes, a lot of the stuff that's on the rugs is digitally like rendered. So there's like digital sketch pads that you use to create work like that. So I've been doing that for like years. So I only started doing stuff by hand last month.
His love for his culture is isiXhosa, personal experience, and hip-hop music is what inspires him.
Growing up, a lot of my work was very hip-hop inspired, you know. Even when I was doing like my first year, a lot of my work had a lot to do with like graffiti, it had a lot to do with, you know. And then I think I just got to a point where I just wanted to do stuff that represented me, you know. Like, because let's say I do something internationally, for example. When I take whatever is graffiti inspired to like a New York, for example, it doesn't speak to who I am. You know, it speaks to a part of who I am, but doesn't speak to who I am holistically. So what I tried to do was create work that spoke to me. It represented my people, it represented my upbringing. So it slowly just ended up becoming what you see here.
Not only does he design rugs, he has also designed album covers for different South African artists.
So basically, this is some of the stuff that we do at Create Studios. So this is work that I've done for a very good friend of mine, who's also an artist called Zuchi Kogdo. He's a rapper. This is what I did for the legendary Jimmy Lulu. So for his album. And this is what I did for Dem Tuda's album last year. Then this is what I did for the hit Wamuhle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is also what I did for Dem Tuda for another hit.
Yeah, Mr. Hit. Mr. Hit.
Did this for DJ Stoki's first album. I also worked on his second album and the EP.
Nice.
So this is what I did for Simpiwa Dana.
Love this.
According to Ntloko, if you have the love and passion, nothing can stop your dreams.
Hashtag we are outside. Outside to reconnect with our loved ones, outside to do summer, and outside to live our best lives. We are at Pines Resort to do water sport, but most importantly to enjoy all there is to enjoy about being out and about in Johannesburg. I bet you never knew that there was a best place like this in Joburg, right? But right here at Trendz Travel, we are here to introduce you, or rather to reintroduce you to Johannesburg. With so many options here, I needed this water fanatic to help me make the correct choice. Khanya, I want you to show us what you've been doing for the past 2-3 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Come, let's go. Lead the way, Khanya. Lead the way. Khanya, show us the way. How deep is the pool down there?
It's very deep. If you let the thing pulls me backwards.
I can't swim though!
No, it's not very deep. You can, yeah, it's okay. You can go.
It's a non-stop slide fun with so many options and so much to do.
So we've got one aquaride slide, which basically caters for anyone that is capable of swimming or at least could stand in the pool. Then we've got the speed slide, it's more of an adrenaline slide, nice and fast slide. Then we've got the mountain ride, it's a tube ride. So from there also caters any kind for that.
Hello, boys.
Hello, Glenn.
So what is this one about?
It's just about tubes going down, and it's just scary when you go fast. I don't know. It's calm, but then it gets scary. Let me just say it's a bumpy ride.
Which one was the scariest for you guys since you've been?
It felt like I was gonna die just because of how steep it was. It was so scary. I just had to close my eyes and hope that it was over. If it's your first time and you're midway, like you can't breathe. Yeah, like you can breathe, but it's hard for you to breathe.
And then the mat race is also a different type of slide where you go down on the mat, which is quite fun. And then from there we've got the swimming pools, which caters for everyone. It's one length, so it's not crowded in one area. And then we've got the baby section with the baby slides and the baby pool for all the kids that want to come through.
Truly a family haven that brings families together in the name of fun.
So we do have a tuck shop that we run, like a restaurant, so we sell pizzas, toasted sandwiches, boerewors rolls, things like that. But we also do encourage people to bring their own braai meat and dry stuff, come with the family, have their own braai going. We do limit the number of people that come in, so it's not too crowded. Everyone gets their own dry area, their own space, so it's not crowded with any people like that. And then, yeah, we bring your own meats and cold drinks and stuff like that. Come have your bra for the day.
So it's your birthday.
Yes, baby.
How old are you turning?
I'm turning 38. Proudly so. Yep.
Why would you say proudly so?
Because I still look young and...
Tena, my baby, Tena, my baby, Tena. Tena, my baby, Sigone, Tena, Miguel, Tena. The birthday girl had not touched the water since she got here, so we ushered her to the pool, Trendz travel style. Okay, I baptized Nero in the name of Trendz travel.
I'm thankful for my mom, although she cannot swim, she's just scared of water, I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to teach her. We have went to many swimming places, but she still doesn't want to touch the water. I don't know, like she's scared of cold water, but in warm water she'll definitely go in.
Whether you fancy yourself a mermaid,
Swim, crazy, swim, swim.
or you are just here for a turn-up, this is definitely a place for you.
And that's how we wrap up this week's show. If you want to contact us, it's at Trendz on SABC, both Twitter and Instagram. #MaskUp, #StaySafe.